Hello, and welcome to the third chapter in the Bankers Masterclass series, sponsored by Standard Chartered, highlighting how finance can be used as a catalyst for change. I'm Joy McKnight, editor of The Banker, and Tori Bernson, who's CEO of Europe and Americas at Standard Chartered, has joined me in the studio to discuss sustainable supply chains. Tori, thanks so much for joining me.
Joy, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
So what would you say are the major challenges when it comes to getting visibility into supply chain risk?
I think, COVID really exposed a lot in terms of the whole supply chain. And as I move around, speak to clients and talk to them, supply chains have become very, very important in terms of how they're looking at things from that standpoint. COVID, I think, exposed some things from that standpoint because you weren't traveling and you weren't visiting as much. So what were the systems like? What was the real-time data like? What was the communication in that perspective? So I think all the banks and us included are working very hard to help companies really enhance their supply chains through AI, blockchain, et cetera. And again, it's become a very focal point at the CFO, treasurer levels, and what you do in terms of what your supply chains look like going forward.
So how is Standard Chartered working with multinational clothing company H&M to decarbonize its supply chain?
Been very active in helping them improve their supply chains from a sustainability factor in places like Bangladesh, China, India, et cetera. We've led their sustainability-linked revolving credit facility. We're also on sustainability bond financing, et cetera. We've given them suggestions on how they can operate. When you have these sustainability-linked credit facilities, you really have to monitor them from a scope 1, 2, and 3. They have certain KPIs they have to meet. We've had independent auditors look at them, but they've worked very hard to become much more sustainable and really focus their efforts on that. And we've helped many other companies along the way. Puma, the sneaker company, we've helped them as well. But across the board, really been very visible in that aspect. And then in terms of our bond financings and our revolving credits that are all sustainability linked, we've been a major participant in that market and continue to be very active with our clients.
And how does the bank's supply chain performance indicator really help its corporate clients?
Well, we're really looking at it as a tool where our clients can see how they can potentially improve. So when they're looking at their supply chains, are they environmentally sound? Do they have the same interests from that aspect? Are they financially sound? Are they flexible? Can they adapt to the changing environment? And equally from that standpoint, are they visible in the ecosystems? So we're looking across the board at all those things. But the ultimate goal is to make, what you talked about H&M before, the ultimate goal is to make our clients that much better, to get to the place where they need to be to really help society, help the climate, help the environment, and whatever we can do to make it easier for our clients. I think it not only is the right thing to do, but it puts us at a competitive advantage.
So Tori, what do you think corporates can do to improve their resilience in their supply chain?
I think we kind of covered some of those things from the start in looking at management systems and looking at, we talked about the tool a little bit in terms of evaluating what the supply chains look like. Many of our clients now are looking at, how do I diversify my supply chain network? Is it too much to be in just one country? Should I be looking at others? Nearshoring is something that some of our clients are looking at. I think there'll be certain countries that will definitely benefit from some of this. We're seeing more activity in places like India, Vietnam. I think you're getting some, from a U.S. perspective, a country like Mexico will probably experience some more. And then on certain technical type products, et cetera, you might actually bring that back to the U.S. But having said that, supply chains will continue to be very, very important. It all works together from a global trade aspect. But I think the diversification is something people are looking at. And you're looking at, how can I measure that with some of my financings? How can I improve my KPIs? How can I be better and more efficient from a climate and environmental standpoint? So supply chains have really elevated in terms of what the the CFOs and Treasury staffs are thinking about.
Thank you so much for your insights, Tori. And thanks to the audience for watching. In the final chapter of the Bankers Masterclass series, sponsored by Standard Chartered, we'll be looking at how digitizing trade flows can actually impact the global economy.